Greetings. I'm Dr. Lois Abrams, who joined CAMFT in 1974, and I want to welcome CAMFT Board of Directors because you're about to embark on a journey where you will play a direct and vital role in the development of the future of the MFT profession and mental health across our nation. Volunteers like yourselves who step up to the plate for board service deserve a huge thank you for your dedication, your passion, and your loyalty to both the MFT profession and CAMFT and your MFT association. I became president in 1980. And during my presidency, significant bills were passed. The AB 2211 that allowed MFTs to receive third-party providership. And in those days, it was called MFCC. And the other bill was AB 2210, which allowed MFCCs to become a director of a mental health clinic. In addition, in 1980, the Psychological Examining Committee voted to allow our licensed MFCCs to use the term psychotherapist and psychotherapy. We could use it in advertising, and we could use it, and it was not limited, those terms, to just psychologists. And the PEC dealt with the matter because the BBS failed to take a position on this. And this was in May of 1980. And our CAMFT Board of Directors adopted a policy to clarify the position of CAMFT and the use of the words psychotherapist and psychotherapy in advertising by a licensed MFCC was not in violation of the law, nor was it false or misleading advertising. So we were really on board in 1980, and I was thrilled. In order for the bills to pass, the board of directors reached out to all of our members by a telephone tree, and they in turn contacted the state legislators. We also, of course, went up to Sacramento and brought a large group of MFTs in that area to meet with the legislators, and we lobbied the bill. I'm very proud of what happened, and I can't tell you how proud I am of where you, the current board of directors, are at this stage of our professional career. Thank you again.
Hi, my name is Breffney Barrett. I'm a former president of the California Association of Marriage and Family Therapists, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the early days when the association was first formed, and that was in the mid-60s. And it was the name of the association with the California State Marriage Counseling Association. And when the association was formed, the total assets were $100. The dues were $2,400, and at the end of the 1960s, we had 197 members. So you can see there's been quite a bit of growth and development with this association over the years. I want to thank the incoming board members, the new board members, for their dedication and duty, and I appreciate the effort that you're making because your leadership really counts for our profession.
Greetings and welcome to the CAMFT Board of Directors. My name is H. Dan Smith. I came to California in 1978 from Colorado to take a teaching position in counselor education at Fresno State. I've been there for 44 years. It didn't take long, however, for me to learn of CAMFT, its services, its benefits, and most important to me was its advocacy on the state level. Truly, CAMFT has been a great influence in my success as a professor and as a practicing clinician. I was licensed in 1982, and as noted, in addition to my teaching, I've been a practicing clinician, almost full-time here at biobehavioral medical clinics in Fresno. I really enjoy this office because if I need a psychiatric consultation, there's one right down the hall, which is such a unique thing to have access to in this world of the clinical and medical practice. I served on the CAMFT Board of Directors from 1995 to 2000, and then again from 2005 to 2008. And I was president of CAMFT twice, once in 1998, 1999, and the second time 2006 and 2007. Some of the association's consequential issues and accomplishments during the 70s include a 1971 name change from the California State Marriage Counseling Association, which it held since 1964, to the California Association of Marriage and Family Counselors, CAMFC. In 1979, the members voted to change our name to the California Association of Marriage and Family Therapists, which it is today, CAMFT. Ironically, you'll find this interesting, our current association name change, which has the word therapist in it, predated our license name change by nearly 20 years. We went from MFCC, when I got my license, to presently MFT, and that change occurred in 1998. I'm particularly proud of that. That occurred during the first term of my presidency of CAMFT. Also, some notable items are that in the early days, in the 1970s, we had less than 1,000 members. Our budget was in the 40,000s. We were a pretty small operation. But by the end of that decade, we were up to 2,500 members, and we had 700 or so people showing up at our annual conference. Well, you're in for a lot of work, some great collegial experiences, and engagement in some very rewarding projects and decisions that will affect the profession going forward. So you have a big, important job ahead of you. Truly, lots of things have changed since I first became a licensed professional in 1982, and I really have to thank CAMFT for most of those changes. They've influenced the licensing board, they've set policy, they've used their finances extremely wisely. It's just really been a great association. Please be mindful of the importance of your work, its lasting and greatly appreciated effect on the profession. I'm hoping your new experiences on the board of directors will always be one of the highlights of your professional career. So with that, I bid you adieu and say have a great experience. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Steve Weiner, a past president of CAMFT. I believe that institutional memory and history is extremely important in order to recognize how CAMFT got to where we are today. With that in mind, I would like to give a historical overview of CAMFT's most important accomplishments during the 1980s. In 1980, CAMFT had 8 employees, 4,500 members, and a budget of $500,000. The following bills were passed that year that helped establish MFCCs as a legitimate mental health profession. AB 2111 prohibited insurance companies from excluding MFCCs from treating covered mental health issues. AB 2210 amended county plans to include MFCCs. And licensed MFCCs were allowed to use the terms psychotherapy and psychotherapist in advertising. Also in the 1980s, CAMFT began taking calls 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. to answer questions regarding laws, regulations, legislation, and other issues facing MFCCs. By 1985, membership had grown to 6,400, and the following bills were passed. SB 1044 gave patients of MFCCs the coverage of psychotherapist patient privilege in both criminal and civil proceedings, putting MFCCs on an equal footing with psychologists and psychiatrists. SB 587 gave MFCCs the right to treat and get reimbursed from workers' comp claimants. SB 1331 gave MFCCs the right to treat patients under the Victims of Crime program. and SB 1358 made MFCC interns and trainees mandated reporters of child abuse. By 1989, CAMFT membership grew to 14,500 members with a budget over $1 million. That was the 1980s, before MFTs were regarded with the respect they have today, and before CAMFT became the preeminent mental health association in both California and in the nation. I encourage all of you to continue to move our profession forward. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sandy Wolf, and I'm one of CAMFT's past presidents. I was asked to tell you a bit about all the ways that CAMFT has advocated for its members throughout the late 90s. In 1996, Congress approved legislation regulating discriminatory insurance practices that limit mental health coverage. This was the first key step towards parity of mental health benefits. As well, in 1996, CAMFT sponsored a Senate bill which was signed by the governor at that time, Governor Wilson, and it expanded the acceptable work settings that interns and trainees can obtain hours of experience towards licensure. In 1998, CAMFT surveyed its membership and learned that the typical marriage and family therapist at that time lived in Los Angeles, was female, had an average age of 51, and charged a fee of $73.31. And another important milestone during that summer of '98, Governor Wilson signed into law a bill developed by CAMFT that changed the license title from MFCC, Marriage, Family, and Child Counselor, to MFT, Marriage and Family Therapist. So that bill brought California into conformity with the 39 other states who regulate the profession under the title of Marriage and Family Therapist. And that law became effective on July 1st, 1999. That same year, CAMFT and AMFT, the American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy, entered into an agreement to jointly pursue Medicare reimbursement for MFTs. The organizations jointly hired a lobbying firm in DC to represent our mutual interest in pursuing not only Medicare inclusion, but also inclusion in the Federal Employees Health Benefits Program. That same year, the federal PAC was created by CAMFT to accompany these federal legislative efforts. So those efforts to gain Medicare reimbursement have been worked on by each board since then, and I hope that soon those efforts will be accomplished on behalf of CAMFT as an association and on behalf of MFTs in the state of California.
Hello, my name is Bob Casanova, and I was a CAMFT president in 2017 to 2018. I am in private practice in Sonoma County, and I'm a member of the Redwood Empire chapter of CAMFT. I served on the board of directors of CAMFT for a total of 6 years, beginning in 2014, and served in the following positions: Director at Large, Board Secretary, President-elect, President, and past President. I also served 1 year as the board's parliamentarian. As an interesting fact, I was originally placed on the ballot through the petition process, where approximately 430 of our colleagues sent in individual petitions, allowing me and a slate of candidates known as Safe CAMFT to be placed on the ballot. I've been asked to share with you highlights from CAMFT's history, starting with the year 2000. In the year 2000, the membership raised $20,000 to fund the inaugural CAMFT Federal Pact. In 2001, CAMFT's member call center, comprised of 4 staff members, was established to enhance member services. In 2000, the typical MFT was female, practicing in LA County, was 52 years old, charged $78.16, and had an annual income of $46,954. By 2006, the typical MFT was female, worked in LA County, charged $96.30. By the way, our annual dues at that time were only $125 per year. By 2008, the typical MFT practicing in LA County is female, charges $106.70 a session, and has an annual income of $55,890. Clinical dues are then raised in 2008 to $135 per year. In 2008, Congress passed and President Bush signed the Paul Wellstone and Pete Domenici Mental Health Parity and Addictions Equity Act of 2008. This milestone legislation helped end the discrimination against patients seeking treatment for mental health and addiction. In 2009, CAMFT emerges on social media with a presence on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. In 2001, CAMFT had $3.5 million in cash equivalents, and other investments. Today, CAMFT has $14 million of the membership's money sitting in reserves. I congratulate all of you on your election and extend to you my sincere appreciation for your service to our membership and to the CAMFT Board of Directors. I wish you all the very best, and you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. Good luck and welcome to the board.
Hello, I am Laura Strom, the 2015-16 president of CAMFT, and I'm also a member of the Redwood Empire chapter. In 2010, Governor Schwarzenegger declared the month of May as Marriage and Family Therapist Month. And in 2011, our membership topped 30,000. In 2012, our PAC almost reached $100,000. In 2016, CAMFT's staff grew to 23 people, and our membership had increased to 31,900. Our assets and liabilities stood at 8.4 million, and our clinical dues were increased to $175. AB 1863 was sponsored by Assemblymember Wood and signed into law in 2016. This law allows MFTs to work at and be reimbursed for their work in federally qualified health centers, or FQHCs. I am wishing the very best of luck to you, our new incoming board. I hope you have a productive and a successful year. And I want to thank you on behalf of all of us for your service to us. Wishing you very, very much the best of luck.
Now let's just stroll down memory lane with many of CAMFT's past presidents, highlighting the accomplishments and the legacy that's been built by past boards. It's really important to know that it's an honor and a privilege, as well as a learning experience, to serve as a member of the board of directors. I know for myself, being on the board of directors was a great professional accomplishment and one of the best times I've had helping to shape the profession of MFTs, as well as opening doors that weren't open for us before. So please know that this honor and privilege is something to help your fellow MFTs be able to be there to provide services, much needed services, especially in our world today, to members of our communities, and to shape the profession for the future. So enjoy your board service, have a great time, but also know that it's a serious endeavor that will have lasting effects throughout the years. So carry on, do great things, and I congratulate you all on being board members.